My name is David Smith. I'm one of the shepherds at the Beltline Church of Christ. Today I want us to think together about the word patience. When I think about patience, I think about my children when they were small. Our vacations usually consisted of long road trips. We enjoyed seeing many of the national parks and amusement parks and sites across the United States. For the most part, our trips were very enjoyable, but my kids developed a daily ritual. As soon as we got in the car each morning, one of the kids would say, "We go," which indicated the beginning of a new day, a new adventure in sightseeing. But within the next 15 to 20 minutes, one of them would also say, "Dad, are we there yet?" The ritual became a point of fun, a little bit of agitation that we laugh about even to this day. My kids were impatient and they enjoyed letting me know about it. They had much rather be at the motel, enjoying the swimming pool or a playground, or even watching Sesame Street on TV, rather than sitting for numerous hours in the back seat of the car as we traveled down the road. When I think about patience, I also think about someone sitting down with his head bowed, letting the burdens of life descend upon him as he passively endures a storm in his life until it passes. Perhaps there's an element of truth here, but I want to believe that patience holds a much greater opportunity for us as Christians rather than meekly enduring the inevitable. I choose to believe that patience helps us put God first, to wait upon the Lord for His time and His place. The word patience or perseverance was used by Peter to describe one of the Christian virtues, and the word patience or long-suffering was used by the Apostle Paul to describe one of the fruits of the spiritual life. Most of us think of Job when we think of patience. Job endured an awful lot during his life. He lost all of his children and his wealth in a single day. He was covered with painful sores. He received no support from his wife and his friends. To this day, when someone exhibits great endurance for all kinds of trials and pains and annoyances, we say they have the patience of Job. Perhaps we can think of patience as steadfastness or consistency or endurance. In the Bible, patience is used to carry the meaning of living each day with deliberate purpose. We remain faithful even as we are challenged by life, which may include pain and suffering. Patience may be described as a spirit which can bear all things, not simply a resignation to fate. It is rather a hope of a bright new day which will come soon. Patience can be thought of as a requirement for living in an imperfect world. We don't run the Christian race in a single day, but it takes a lifetime. And during our lives, we're going to have to deal with a lot of unpleasant stuff. Temptations, persecutions, drunk drivers, tornadoes, muggers, thieves, sickness, death, liars, yes, and even a pandemic or two. They're all a part of life. Christ teaches us in John chapter 16 and verse 33 that in this world we're going to have some tribulation. And the inspired writer of Romans chapter 5 and verse 3 tells us that tribulations will bring about perseverance or patience. It's easy for us to become disillusioned in life when we suffer physically or mentally or spiritually. It's easy for us to get lost and take a wrong turn. It's easy for us to act irrationally and to take our eyes off of the goal and of living a righteous, godly life. Many times worry takes control of our lives and we begin a rapid spiral downward. And that spiral downward usually leads us away from God. We so desperately need patience in our lives, and it doesn't come overnight, but rather it comes with a lot of work and a lot of effort as we grow spiritually. So what is patience in a time of pandemic and other crises in my life? First of all, I think patience is submission. Submitting to the will of God. Submitting to listening to Him instead of myself. In James chapter 4 and verses 10 is, "Humble yourself in the sight of the Lord, and He will lift you up." I think patience is also endurance. Perhaps enduring something unpleasant with a smile. realizing that not everything in life is going to happen on my timetable and the way I want it to happen. James 5 and verse 11, we count those blessed who endure or have patience. Patience is also running a race. It's putting forth a lot of effort when we can't see the finish line just yet. I think of the runner who's running a race and he's looking for that finish line, and it may be over the hill and around a curve or two, but it's there, and he's got to focus on it, and he's got to keep on running. My hero of patience would be the Apostle Paul. In 2 Timothy chapter 4, verses 7 and 8, Paul said, I have fought the good fight. He submitted to the will of God. I have finished my course. He endured. I have kept the faith. He was not distracted. Henceforth there's laid up for me a crown of righteousness. Paul achieved his goal and his reward in life. Yes, patience is one of those qualities of the Christian life that I work on every day. I read and study my Bible. I talk with those who have more experience and are further along in their Christian faith than I, and I try to improve each day. Let us end our thoughts today with a word of prayer. Holy and righteous Father, thank you so much for our period of study. Help us to improve on our patience. Help us to learn more. Help us to submit to your will. Help us to give it time. Help us to work to become more spiritually mature. God, we love you and we want to do your will, and it's through Christ that we humbly pray. Amen.